Enemy forces have set up an early warning radar and control van just south of Kutaisi Air Base. Close air support and strike assets are currently tasked elsewhere, leaving it to us to eliminate this target. Welcome back aboard my MiG-21 for Mission 8 of the Over the Hump campaign. Today, it's going to be a strike mission, which we haven't done yet. So I'm going to jump into the startup procedure, and I'll talk a little bit more about the mission once we're underway. So, inverters, battery heat, battery DC generator on, radio, flight recorder, fuel pumps, starter motor, and I'm going to try and be a little bit more proper today. We're not under that much of a time crunch to take off as such. So yeah, cleared for startup. So we go. Alright, engines spinning up, gyros, AC generator, all right-hand circuit breakers on. We definitely all know this song and dance by now, but just include it for the sake of completeness, and it doesn't take very long. Radar at standby, IFF RWR on, probe heat, line KPP, gun sight on, shot the lid. I'll get this actually set up for our rockets. Because, yeah, I'm going to be using rockets. I'll explain that a little bit in a second. Seal canopy, gear handle fixator, flare cover. I'm temporarily setting this to the Nalchik RSBN station, but we're actually going to use the Kutaisi one to navigate to the target because it's right next to Kutaisi Airfield. And presumably the enemy have still left it operational. So, that's us ready to taxi. So we will. Now, I said I was going to explain something about the mission and the loadout. I have actually, this is the only mission where I've changed the default loadout. However, it is definitely a downgrade. So if you look out on the wings, you will see 4 S-24 unguided rockets. The default loadout for this mission is actually a pair of KH-66 Groms. Now, I've removed these, one for a sort of mission planning reason and one for a historical reason. The mission planning reason is that utilizing these rockets, I'm more likely to be able to destroy both targets in a single pass. And I want to get in and get out of this area as quickly as possible and not engage enemy fighters because we're not really equipped or fueled for it. And the historical reason is that the MiG-21bis historically, at least without substantial modification, could not actually employ the KH-66. There are a number of slightly fictional features in the DCS MiG-21, especially if you're using the non-realistic gun sight setting, and that's one of them, so that's why I've changed that, so my rocket shooting will just have to be very accurate. The S-24 rocket was a favorite of Soviet pilots in Afghanistan because of its accuracy and because it had a lot of boom, so I'm hoping it lives up to its reputation here. Okie dokie, coming up to the hold line, I'll request takeoff. I'll pop a light. The flaps are set and everything, right? Good takeoff. Goodie. Alright, we'll line up. Actually, engage the gun sight for now just so the gyros aren't wobbling. Lock the nose gear and off we go. Oh, you're gonna clear me for takeoff twice. I feel very special. Airspeed's live, 200, 250. We have a lighter airplane today. This is gonna be nice. Until we run out of fuel. Oh, hopefully not. Okay, lift off. Positive rate climb, gear up. Make sure we clear them trees. Alright, gear up, 3 red. Back to the neutral position. Let the speed come up a little wee bit, then flaps up. Alright, out of burner. I'm actually going to punch up the Kutaisi RSBN station, and we're going to navigate over the mountains using that. And the only other thing I wanted to say, I mean, I mentioned how quickly I want to get in and out. I'm going to try and conserve as much fuel on the trip down whilst masking myself from enemy radar behind the mountains. And then probably egress, supersonic and full afterburner, climbing to high altitude to conserve fuel on the way back. There is an anticipated threat of F-16s from Kabaletti, and I don't want to tangle with them, especially since I didn't bring any missiles, though my wingmen did. I only gave them a pair of S-24 rockets each, just in case I miss. But, yeah, in principle, I am going to avoid air combat in this mission. So, proceed with your mission, blah, 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 blah. I hope you read that. Nothing the mission briefing didn't already say, so I think we're good to just carry on. Alright, we're coming out of the mountains, 50 kilometers out from the target. I have us at full mill power so we can ingress reasonably fast. No burner yet though, because I want to save some fuel so that we can run all the way home, more or less, on burner at high altitude to get away from those F-16s. My centerline tank is blinking, so it's just about empty. I'll drop it in just a little bit here. It should give us a little bit more speed to play with. The RSBN station at Kataisi is working, so I should be able to locate the target using it. So, does AOX have any immediate threats for us? Oops. 268 for 60, cold. Okay, don't have to worry about that right now. Center tank's empty. I will drop it. I think my guys probably won't drop their tanks unless they're actually engaged, but not much I can do about that. Hopefully they don't ride the afterburner too much, because this will give me a little bit of extra speed. Now, can I see Kataisi Airfield? Yes. Now the target, if you look at the near end of the field in the taxiway that's perpendicular to the runway at the end there, the target should be basically pointing just a little bit beyond where the line that cuts south, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't. But anyway, I should be able to see the target well enough, because I know roughly where it is. I see some aircraft down there. Like, slow moving, maybe helicopters or something? Well, I'm not necessarily terribly worried about that. I'm going to get myself set up for this bomb run. So, radar on, fixed beam. I'm not sure if this actually does anything. I'll have to read a little bit more about the guts of this system. Down, up, up on the gun sight. S-24s are selected. Master mode is air to ground. Gyro mode. Uncage the gyro on the gun sight, and we should be good to go. And I think I can see the targets as well. So I'm going to roll in from as high an altitude as I can and still see them. The ceiling is at about 3,900 meters, which isn't great, but whatever. And I'll try and line up so that I can hit both targets in a single pass, which I think I'm actually pretty close to lined up right now, so I will pull the nose up a little bit. Stay at altitude for just a second. And yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to roll in. I don't know what kind of SHORAD's down there, so I'm going to put out periodic flares on the way down. Another flare. And we should be coming just about into range. Fire. Fire. And flares, flares, flares. Look back at the targets. Looks like I got them both. Yeah, we can return to base. Okay. Now check RSBN station, though I don't expect to actually pick it up yet. Climb and run like hell. Our egress heading is going to be about 030. So I'm going to climb to altitude, and egress supersonic. And hopefully we should clean get away, he says. Radar can go back off. And out of fixed beam just in case. I'll actually pop everything set up for air to air in case of that contingency. Is the gun even loaded? Oh no, I already loaded it at takeoff. Haha. Okay, well, we'll see if we've gotten away with this. Okay, so I zoomed up to about 9,500 meters on full burner. My little ducks appear to have caught up with me. I believe that's a friendly cat flight ingressing to cover our retreat. And I don't want to jinx things too much, but I think we might have gotten away with it. So, still have a decent amount of fuel, so I'm going to keep us on full mill power just to get us well away from the AO as soon as possible, and we'll head back to Nalchik.
717-й. Возврат. 717. Мальчик. Следуйте курсом 037. Удаление 40. Давление 722,79. Посадочное 24. Занимайте высоту круга.
Alright, that's us cleared inbound. Nalchik is just over there. It's a little bit hard to see in this light, but we're only 20 clicks out. So I'm just descending in for now. Once I'm on approach, I'll tell my flight to break off and land individually, since I kept them in formation the whole way back. And I had them jettison their weapons, which in practice I think had them jettison their external tanks and their rockets, just so that they could keep up with me as we were running away. So everyone should be at a nice, decent fuel state. We shouldn't have anyone running out today. And we'll be joining Z Downwind shortly. So I'll just drop down to... Actually, 1,500 meters is probably about right. I think the field elevation's about 500. So, actually, no, we should drop down to an even 1,000 meters. Or a 500 meter or 1,500 foot circuit altitude, which I think is about right. It's been a while since I actually practiced the book correct circuit procedure for the MiG-21, but I seem to have been getting it good enough so far, so I'm not really gonna fuss about that. Once we level off, I'll let our speed come back through 500 so we can get the gear out. And before I slow down too much and throw them off, I'll tell my flight to RTB. Flight. Turn to base, make sure they all acknowledge. Yep. Возврат на точку. They would have said if I'd not immediately changed frequencies. Alright, we're abeam the field. Let's really get slowed down now. And they're breaking off nicely. There's 500. We'll get the gear out. And look for 3 green. One. Bunk. That took a while, but they came down. Flaps set for takeoff stroke approach. And we'll just wait till we're 45 degrees off and turn base. Holding an airspeed of 450 and an altitude of 1,000 meters, so we're slightly low. Not that matters too much since we have nice visual conditions. I'll mostly eyeball it anyway. And there's 45 degrees, we'll turn base. Ooh, a little too much rudder. Keep your speed up. I almost have to push it up to mill power to do in a 30-degree bank, but that's a MiG-21 for you. High angle of attack on approach. Needs lots of power. Because there's lots and lots of drag. But that's okay. I love the MiG-21 no matter its vices. And this is going to be a pretty rounded base to final. I'm even going to have to steepen my bank a little bit, but we should be able to roll out quite nicely and be pretty much on glide slope. At that point I can pull some power off. Flap set for landing. Oh boy. Glare in the gun sight is not doing wonderful things for visibility, but whatever. I'll turn the landing light on, since it is the proper thing to do, and we're in slightly low light conditions with the only broken clouds up here. So, we'll do everything right. We'll even ask for landing clearance. Oh, never mind. I should quit faffing with the radio menu because I got a little bit low. Just then. It's not so good, but I can level off and regain the glide slope just fine. Easy to do when you can't see the runway very well. But oh well, that's just the way it is. And we're a little fast, so I'm going to bring power back as we come over the fence. Fortunately, getting rid of speed is never a difficult thing to do in the MiG-21. So ease into the flare. Doink. Soft parachute, air brakes. Taxi light. And we can save the brake. We didn't need to use them very much because most of the slowing down is already being done. Need just a little bit of brake here. Air brake in. Sort of fat fingered the switch. I'm not sure if they came up or not. Whatever. Flaps up. And get ready to drop the parachute as we clear off. Cover open and drop it. Yep. And then get lined up. My flight look like they're all lined up in a row to land. So yeah. My guys are obviously, I brought them all back, so we don't have any friendly losses to speak of. And I don't think there was any air combat, so I don't know if any enemy planes were shot down either, but we destroyed our primary target, so I think that can reasonably be declared a total success. And, well, my plan pretty much ran on rails. I think I was pretty much right to save fuel on the ingress so we could burn as much as we needed to on the egress. The enemy fighters never caught us. The closest they came to us was about 40 clicks from the AWACS calls I got on the way out, and then they turned back, so they weren't that far away, but they weren't in weapons parameters either, so come to a halt, light off, and I'm going to try and do a book correct shutdown this time because I found my checklist. So flaps up, speed brakes, did they actually come in? Yes, they did. Speed brakes in, landing taxi light off, throttle to idle, all circuit breakers off. And there are certain systems that I just don't turn off during the shutdown, but I presume that's book correct because they get just like flicked off later. Oh yeah. Flight recorder is supposed to stay on, so oh well, I slightly broke it. Well, broke the procedure anyway. Throttle to stop. Canopy. Pop the lid and let in a cool October breeze, since it's October in game, but well, not October IRL. gyro should have come off. Fuel pumps and generators off. Fire extinguisher and starter motor off. Nav lights were never on. Inverters and battery heat off. Battery off. And that's about, well, and that's a shutdown, I guess. So that is, yeah, I'm fairly satisfied with how this mission went. I'll be back with the next one on the soon side. Toodles.